Free TV license dispute centres on Executive Council confidentiality rules. Carrie Lam defends population study and struggling to maintain transatlantic ties amid US spying claims.
Good evening. Chief Secretary for Administration Carrie Lam has defended the government's decision not to grant Hong Kong television network a free-to-air TV licence. And she stressed the need to uphold the Executive Council's confidentiality rules. But critics have stepped up calls for the government to explain its decision to deny HKTV a licence. Gerardo Silva has more.
Most Hong Kong television network staff and supporters camped outside the central government offices in the past week decided today it was time to pack up and go. But their fight is far from over. HKTV Staff Union Chairman Henry Young said 120,000 people attended last night's rally to denounce the government's decision to reject HKTV's bid for a free-to-air license and its unwillingness to explain the rationale behind it. Young added that their departure from the premises is temporary. He also promised to lobby legislators to press ahead with an investigation using special LegCo powers when they meet on November 6th. Meanwhile, Chief Secretary for Administration Carrie Lam has waded into the TV licensing saga. She made clear the Executive Council needs to abide by its confidentiality and collective responsibility rules. Lam said she does not want to see the licensing dispute pose a challenge to those rules. But the head of the Equal Opportunities Commission, Yok Chow, said explaining to the public the reasons behind policies is not the same as revealing what was discussed at the Executive Council. And Kamal Buhari, a non-permanent judge of the Court of Final Appeal, refused to express an opinion on a case which would soon come before the court.
Well, I mean, the judges and the courts will always consider what issues are put before them. It's for the parties to lay the issues. If an issue is put before the court and it's relevant, the judge will listen to it patiently and listen to both sides and then give a judgment at the end of it. He certainly wouldn't talk about it on TV.
As HKTV prepares to file a judicial review of the controversial decision, pan-Democrat legislators are trying to put more pressure on the government by staging a protest tomorrow afternoon.
I hope more Hong Kong people would come over to, morally at least, support the 10 staff members who are still staying on for another 10 days until
Gerardo Silva, TVB News.
The Chief Secretary for Administration today also defended the newly launched consultation paper on population policy. Carrie Lam insisted the government's priority is to train the local workforce, not to import foreign labour. There's been growing criticism since the 4-month consultation was launched on Thursday. Carrie Lam, who heads the steering committee overseeing the population policy study, said today she had braced for controversy, knowing how sensitive the topic is. Speaking to TVB News today, she clarified why the consultation paper comes across as selective in the issues it deals with.
Of all the other issues like retirement protection, like housing supply, health and medical services in anticipation of an aging population, all these issues are being examined by other more relevant committees. And ultimately, all this will be brought together again to reflect the needs of an aging population.
A key goal of the study is to see how to boost the local workforce. And one of the most contentious issues brought to the table is the importation of foreign labour. Unions have called it a lazy move, but Lam denied the government is trying to take the easy way out.
On training and retraining for local people in order to provide more local talents. This is our top priority. So actually in the report, we have put training of local talents before admission of overseas talents. So the government will do its very best in order to assess the manpower needs of our local economy and through our various training and educational institutes to enhance the training in order to meet those manpower needs.
She added that in the past, Hong Kong might have put too much emphasis on academic subjects, so the city now needs to look into offering people practical vocational skills. Another sensitive issue in the document is the plan to boost the workforce with one-way permit holders from the mainland. In 2012, the city's population grew by some 67,000 people, with more than 54,000 one-way permit holders. Many have questioned how the new migrants can address the labour shortage when Hong Kong doesn't have control over their age, education or skill levels. But Lam emphasised the main goal of the scheme is to allow families to reunite, so there cannot be any selection criteria put in.
On the mainland, a Chinese reporter who was detained and accused of harming the reputation of a major mainland company has confessed to wrongdoing on state TV. Chen Yongzhou's story on Zoom Lion for the Guangdong-based New Express alleged financial irregularities at the Hunan-based engineering firm. But now he says he made it all up and did so to earn a fast buck. Speaking on state-run CCTV today, Chen admitted he was guilty and was driven by greed and a desire for fame. His detention earlier caused an uproar among media professionals who worry authorities are overstepping their legal jurisdiction in criminalising civil disputes. Legal scholars have also voiced concerns about state media airing the confession of a suspect before court hears the case. Turning overseas now, spying by the United States was once again the main topic of discussion at a summit meeting of the European Union yesterday. EU leaders have vowed to maintain a strong transatlantic partnership despite their anger over the surveillance allegations. Alan Buckner has more.
The German government announced it would be sending officials to the U.S. soon for talks about the spying allegations, including whether Chancellor Angela Merkel's mobile phone was monitored.
Wir haben gesagt, dass Deutschland und
It was initially believed France would be part of the talks, but Merkel said each country should get in touch with the American security services on its own. Meanwhile, rather than lashing out at Washington, British Prime Minister David Cameron chose to target former U.S. National Security Agency contractor Edward Snowden and the newspapers that published his leaked material.
What Mr. Snowden has effectively done and what some newspapers are assisting him in doing, and that is going to make it a lot more difficult to keep our countries and our people safe. You know, we do have to take a sort of cold, hard look at this. As we stand today, there are lots of people in the world who want to do us harm, who want to blow up our families.
Cameron declined to answer questions about spying by Britain, saying only that its intelligence services routinely share information with allies and were subject to oversight. In Washington, following new allegations that the NSA had tapped the phones of up to 35 world leaders, the State Department again said the country's surveillance activities are under review.
We're not going to confirm or deny every report. There's no question that the disclosure of classified information has posed a moment of tension with some of our allies. We're having discussions with those allies. Those will continue, as is evidenced by the German delegation that will be coming here in the coming weeks.
Germany is expected to press for a no spying agreement with the U.S. Alan Buckner, TVB News.
Well, we all know train rides can get pretty noisy with people talking at full volume, but when you're talking about state secrets, you might want to keep your voice down just a little bit. At least that's the advice for former U.S. National Security Agency Chief Michael Hayden. More on that from NBC News.
I just ran into him on the train.
Everyone who uses a cell phone in public needs to know something. You are louder than you think you are.
That's exactly it.
Unfortunately for former NSA Director Michael Hayden, that realization came a train ride too late. On Amtrak's Acela Thursday, Hayden had several phone conversations with journalists, forgetting his library voice. Fellow traveler Tom Matze was a few rows up.
When you realized who it was, what was your first reaction?
I said, oh my God, I can't believe he's saying these things on the telephone in the middle of the train.
And loud.
And loud.
Matze, a former MoveOn.org activist, took to Twitter. Former NSA spy boss Michael Hayden on Acela behind me blabbing on background as a former senior administration official. sounds defensive.
I mean, he was talking about rendition and black sites, and I was like, this guy used to be the head of the CIA.
Matzi tweeted again, Michael Hayden on a cella giving reporters disparaging quotes about administration. In a statement, Hayden said he wasn't criticizing, just providing robust political guidance.
Was he revealing any real secrets, in your opinion?
No, I never have said, and I don't think he's revealing like national security secrets. He was gossiping. And, that's what I was tweeting about.
But then Hayden's cell phone rang, and Matzi tweeted, on a cella, phone ringing. I think the jig is up. Maybe somebody is telling him I'm here. Do I hide? He didn't hide. In fact, Hayden introduced himself. They even snapped this harmonious-looking photo. In the process, teaching everyone a valuable lesson. Next time on a train, take the quiet car. Stephanie Gosk, NBC News, New York.
United Nations human rights investigators have called for greater transparency from the US and other countries about the drone programs. They made clear secrecy is the biggest obstacle to determining the impact on civilian casualties. UN investigators said statistics from the Pakistani government showed that at least 2,200 people have been killed in drone strikes in that country since 2004. Of those, at least 400 were civilians.
Drones are not inherently illegal weapons. That's been said for some time now. But I think it's important, given the particular characteristics of drones, to then move on in a way and say we need to focus on its use, because that is really the constraining factor that needs to be emphasized.
When we talk about the killing of a human being, it's not just a number, and it's not just something that is on a piece of paper, that we do look at the individuals that suffer from the actions of hostility.
And still ahead in the news. Looking ahead to a big boxing bout in Macau. Powerful earthquake rocks Japan's northeast. And honouring those who contribute to Hong Kong.